Hi, Dr. Taylor. This is Richard Anderson, Wave Clinical Support. Thank you for submitting your case. I've got a few of your files on here. This is the right eye, and this was the original on the right here, topo that this file was made from, and your complaint was undercorrection. What you did to correct the undercorrection in your second file that you sent was basically to increase the power. So you put the power up from here 1.25 about to 2.5. Basically, I assume that was the difference is probably about how much you were undercorrected. A logical way to go if that was the only problem, but usually that's not the problem. Usually you shouldn't have to go this high like this unless there's something else going on, like the person's progressed in their myopia or something like that. We can get a little bit of a clue as to what's going on if we click into freeform visualization here of what the shape looks like. This is version 8.1, so I do suggest you upgrade that so you can get all the benefits of that. And the main thing is, even in the GSIM form, is when you look at the topo here that Scout has given to Wave and that Wave interprets. We see this steep part down here, we see a flat part up here. The problem is that's not really what the original topo is. And so what's going on is that the interpretation that's having to go on in this area is making it steep, and so your lens ends up looking a bit weird. So that if we are in the freeform here and we look at, as we click around the clock, we've got some fairly strange type of patterns here that just aren't going to work out. One of the things you could do is to switch over to freeform, and when you do that, suddenly everything starts looking a lot nicer, but the problem is we're still dealing with distortion here, so you're still not going to get a good result. This is much better. We've got better coverage. What you can do there is to extrapolate on this map, and then I would suggest, if the rings aren't very clear and you still end up with something that looks like this afterwards, is to go in and dot edit this and get rid of a lot of the junk so that you can get a more uniform map. This is really not that ununiform. It should come up with a fairly even thing being imported into Wave here. So that's my first suggestion. Use this newer topo that you took. And second one was to dot edit if you're still getting a topo being imported into what Scout's using here. I mean what Wave is using here. So you want this to look more even. This really is not that uneven. And third suggestion I'd make is make the lens a bit bigger. I think you could handle around 11.5. You got an 11.1. That's going to be moving around more on us. And then work at getting this apical clearance when you're in the freeform view, that your apical clearance is down here, even if you're using GSIM. If you're using GSIM right now, our apical clearance is all over it's too big. This lens just isn't going to work, and so we've got to get it prettier. If you have to go to freeform, you could. Usually with a cornea that is this symmetrical, you really shouldn't have to go to a freeform. And I think you ought to be able to work this out. But don't trust. You have to be able to look here at what you're actually importing and getting an idea of what's going on here. You shouldn't have to go to a freeform because you really don't have that distorted a view here. And try those modifications. Keep the power. I'd keep the power somewhere around a plus 150, 175 maximum for this power range. And I think you'll find you'll do much better. Good luck. Let me know how it turns out.